Hello. My name is Brian. Gosh, I don't know how to start. First of all, thank you for so much. I have 2 questions. First, my thanks is because I've been trying to stop that car at the bottom of the hill for a long time instead of the top.
Talking about momentum, you know about that.
And I recently came to a place where the car stopped, and my life is moving forward in that awesome direction. So this is a happy cry right now. Thank you.
So you figured out how to
stop blaming the Valley Parker.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. I mean, your story is exactly, on a grander scale is what I was doing. But so my 2 questions are, as I try to maintain that momentum of positive, that wonderful feeling I've been enjoying so much, the people close to my life for so long I had based unhealthy relationships on. I don't look, for example, my mother, I love her so much. I don't want to let her go.
Well, now let's talk just really briefly about what the true basis, in fact, the singular basis, we're just going to take that away from your nose for a minute. Okay. The singular basis of an unhealthy relationship, really what the singular basis of an unhealthy relationship is, you teaching another and them teaching you that your approval and that your attention is essential to their well-being. Because in doing so, you train them away, or they train you away from where your guidance really is and where your power really is and what your alignment really is. And so it's a wonderful thing to not call it an unhealthy relationship. Instead, rather than say, I have an unhealthy relationship or a dysfunctional relationship or a codependent relationship or any of those labels that so many want to apply, instead say, for a while, I forgot about my own guidance system. And so instead of reaching for the path of least resistance, which was the path that felt good to the most of me, instead, in my practice discordance from that, I looked to others who were well-meaning but didn't have the stuff with which to guide me, because only my inner being does. And when I looked someplace else, it was a poor, really, really poor substitute. It never worked out. So I run to this one, and I run to this one, and I run to this one, and in the whole process, I just get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Another thing, think about yourself. This is a really good thing to understand about your own alignment. And it's your own alignment, it's the only alignment that we want you to think about, because you really can't do much about anyone else's anyway. So think about yourself in alignment with who you are. Maybe you meditated, maybe you were appreciating, doesn't matter how you got there, but you've been there steadily and you're feeling good. So in that alignment, you are regenerating, you're refueled, the ideas keep coming, the good ideas keep coming, the energy keeps coming, the cells of your body are rejuvenating, you're just thriving. And now, as you're interacting with another, you're thriving. But let's say you look over at another and you see them in need of something, and you've got a relationship going where they are in need of it, and they see you as the vortex through which, or the valve through which, or the avenue through which their well-being will flow. And so they look at you and you look at them, and it's the relationship you've got going. And so you try to understand how they feel. You can't. You try not to get negative about them, and maybe you succeed, but you give them attention and you begin to flow your resources to them. And in the process of doing so, you disconnect is too strong of word, but you lose your clear connection with who you really are, because you're doing something that is unnatural. You are, in a way, and these are strong words, you're almost insulting them by assuming that they can't hook up like you did directly, that they need your resources. And so you give them some resources. Maybe it's your time, maybe it's your attention, maybe it's long conversations about things that are bothering them, maybe it's money, maybe it's lodging, it could be anything that you give to them. But as you give it to them in the somewhat awareness that they need it, in your attention to them that they need it, you are seeing them so different than the way the source within you sees them, who knows their own resources, who knows their own value. So now in your looking at their need, you are disallowing your rejuvenation. Now, it isn't that you're giving your stuff away to them. It's that you stopped rejuvenating yourself. You stopped going to the well for a little while. When you see others as victims, you don't go to the well. You're not resourcing yourself with source. When you see someone as in trouble, you're not in alignment with the source within you. You've got split energy. You have introduced resistance to your path, and now your path is not as wide open. Now, you can do that for a while. In fact, you can have quite a few needy people around you. You can support quite a few people because you all have resources and you keep stumbling into your own resourcefulness. But after a while, have you noticed how then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another, and then there's another, and before you know it, you're not just not feeling inclined to help because you're sort of tired yourself, but you feel resentment about their demands or their feeling that you owe it to them. Now you're focused and you're really in a state of depleting yourself. So this path of least resistance, what we're talking about is you have to decide that you're going to continue to replenish yourself. And as you replenish yourself, and they do too, when you hook up with self-replenishers, the co-creative fun that you have is so delicious. But when you hook up with someone dependent in nature, and that's why those labels sometimes are pretty accurate, because you've trained each other. I'll be the strong one and you be the weak one. I'll be the strong one and you be the weak one. You can lean on me and 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 you can lean on me. And then all of a sudden, all of you need to get the hell away from me because there's too many people leaning on me. And really, there could be a whole lot of people that you're co-creating with. The thing that we're wanting to emphasize here is you can't deplete yourself first. If they're leaning on you, is depleting you, and it always does for this reason. Not because you're not meant to help, and not because you're not an uplifter, and not because you don't want to be of value, because you do want to be of value, and you are an uplifter, and you are meant to help. But when long term you are assuming that they can't hook up directly, and you subvert their power by being the one through which they will receive their power or their whatever, your inner being is not in agreement with that. And when you get crossways of your inner being, you do not replenish yourself. And when you do not replenish yourself, then. So.
Well, I guess with my mother, I want a tool, maybe a suggestion on how I can continue to replenish myself without losing contact with her, because sometimes the momentum she seems to have going in our relationship, or maybe I guess it's I have going, is always very negative.
You have to feel your way there. So let's do this. So we're going to have an experience, and we're going to call this the path of least resistance. And we're going to assume that you are, for the most part, tuned in. We believe that you are. We can feel the clarity that's come to you. We liked your opening statements about no longer being at the bottom of the hill trying to stop the momentum of unwanted things. So you're in a good place, and you're in an especially good place right now. But you're on a subject that is loaded. It's got lots of tentacles. It's got lots of vibrational pieces. It's got lots of resistance potential in it. And it's a good subject for everybody because you've all got a mother. Whether you know where she is or not. So let's take the path of least resistance. So you just talk to us. Start anywhere, and we're just going to guide you from what we know about path of least resistance and from what we sense from you. Just start rambling. Short sentences, please.
About my relationship with my mother?
Yes.
I love her very much. My mother's a wonderful lady. She's been in an abusive relationship.
All right, now you're going too fast.
Sorry. She's
Wait. So start over. Give us one sentence at a time, because we want to evaluate each sentence based upon how path of least resistance it is, or how path of some resistance it is.
I love my mother very much.
All right, so that in and of itself is a resistance-free sounding statement, and we don't doubt it. It's just that love and resistance are not the same vibration. What you mean is, I really want to love her. What you mean is, I often do love her. What you mean is, sometimes I can get in a vibration of pure love for her. Those are all true statements.
I struggle with my relationship with my mother when
all right,
she
now let's just go
negative.
Nice and slow here. So I struggle with my relationship with my mother. Now, this is really easy. Is that a statement of a path of least resistance, or is that a resistance statement?
Resistance.
It's loaded, isn't it? I struggle is a really tailing word, but it's all right. It's where you are. It's like Esther. She's standing there and her window's blown out. What are you going to do? In other words, you're not going to wheel your nose and change it all of a sudden. You are where you are, and it is what it is, and you're having a vibrational relationship with your inner being right here and now. Now, this is the thing that we want to emphasize. You're having a vibrational relationship with your inner being right here and now. You think this conversation is about the relationship that you're having with your mother, but it isn't. This conversation is about the relationship that you're having with your inner being. Your mother is the subject of attention that is screwing up your relationship with your inner being. But it's your relationship with your inner being that we are talking about path of least resistance about.